Ladies and gentlemen, listen up, because I need you to hear me on this. Too many women are giving their energy, their time, their kindness away for free. Being nice to a man who doesn't respect you will never make him respect you. Trying to prove your worth to someone who doesn't see it is a losing battle. If you keep giving and giving without receiving, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. It's time to stop being nice and start being valuable. There is a difference between kindness and self-sacrifice, between being warm and being walked on, between having a heart and losing your dignity. You are not here to beg for love, to wait for attention, to settle for less than you deserve. It's time to shift your energy, to stop pouring into the wrong people and start commanding respect. Because when you stop chasing validation, you become the prize. When you stop proving yourself, you become the standard. And when you stop being nice at your own expense, you become unforgettable. Let me tell you something. There is a difference between being kind and being a doormat, between having a good heart and letting people walk all over you. And too many of you out here are giving, pouring into people who don't pour back into you, waiting on someone to see your worth when they've already decided they won't. You're out here prioritizing someone who wouldn't even notice if you walked away. You've been taught that being nice will make a man appreciate you, but I'm here to tell you the truth. Niceness without boundaries will only make you disposable. You ever notice how people only start valuing something when they have to earn it? You ever see how folks respect what they have to work for, but take for granted what's just handed to them? It's human nature. A man values what he has to invest in, what he has to step up for, what he has to prove himself worthy of. But if you're out here giving your time, your energy, your love freely without requiring him to meet you at your level, what message are you sending? You're telling him you don't require effort. You're showing him you will accept less. And let me tell you, if a man knows he can give you less and still have you, he's never going to give you more. Some of you are bending over backward for a man who won't even lift a finger for you. You're texting first, calling first, making plans, making excuses, giving him every reason to stay when he's already halfway out the door. And you think if you just give a little more, prove yourself a little harder, he's going to wake up and see your worth. He won't, because your worth should never have to be proven. It should be recognized. And if a man cannot see it on his own, he does not deserve you. You ever see a queen chase a king? You ever see a diamond beg someone to pick it up? No. Because value does not chase. Value stands tall. Value demands to be recognized. And you, my dear, you are valuable. But if you keep chasing, if you keep begging, if you keep trying to be so nice that you let a man walk all over you, you are not being valuable. You are being convenient. And let me tell you something. Convenience is replaceable. You have got to stop prioritizing someone who sees you as an option. You have got to stop giving the best of you to someone who gives you nothing in return. You have got to stop settling for inconsistency, for breadcrumbs, for excuses, for a love that only shows up when it's convenient for them. Because let me tell you something about a man. If he truly values you, he will show up for you. Period. He will make time. He will make effort. He will not leave you questioning where you stand. A lot of you are afraid to walk away because you think you'll be alone. But let me tell you something worse than being alone. Being with someone who makes you feel alone. Being with someone who only wants you when it's easy for them. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's not what you deserve. You want a man to respect you? Stop giving unlimited access to someone who hasn't earned it. You want a man to value you? Start valuing yourself first. You want a man to step up? Stop letting him step all over you. A man who sees you as an option should never be a priority in your life. A man who cannot recognize your worth should never have the privilege of being in your presence. And I know it's hard. I know you care. I know you love deeply. But love yourself enough to walk away from anything that does not love you back the way you deserve. Stop texting first. Stop making all the effort. Stop excusing the inconsistency. Let a man show you who he is and believe him the first time. If he's showing you that you're not a priority, believe him. If he's showing you that he does not value your time, your energy, your love, believe him and walk away. Because a man who truly wants you will never put you in a position to doubt it. There is power in knowing your worth. There is power in not settling. There is power in being so secure in yourself that you do not need to chase, beg, or prove. You are not here to audition for someone's love. You are not here to prove you're worthy. You are worthy as you are. And the moment you stop prioritizing someone who doesn't deserve you, the moment you stop giving your time and energy to a man who isn't stepping up, that is the moment you reclaim your power. Because here's the truth. The right one will recognize you without you having to beg, without you having to prove, without you having to bend over backward just to keep them interested. The right one will see your worth from the start, and the wrong one will only take advantage of what you keep giving. So stop giving freely to someone who hasn't earned it. Stop prioritizing someone who would replace you in a heartbeat. Stop settling for less when you are meant for so much more. Listen, you got to understand something. Men don't respect what they don't have to work for. That's just the truth. If something comes easy, if something is handed to them without any effort, they don't cherish it the same way. Think about it. When you were a kid, the toys your parents bought you were nice, sure, but the ones you saved up for, the ones you worked for, those meant something. The same principle applies to people. If you are just giving and giving, expecting someone to see your worth without them putting in effort to earn your time, you are setting yourself up to be taken for granted. Some of you are out here thinking that if you just love harder, if you just give more, if you just prove yourself a little more, then maybe he'll finally step up. Maybe he'll appreciate you, choose you, value you. But let me tell you something. Appreciation doesn't come from being the most available person, the one who bends over backward, the one who never says no. Appreciation comes when someone has to put in effort to keep you. When they know your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. And right now, too many of you are making yourself too easy to access. You are available at the snap of a finger. You respond to texts the second they come in. You rearrange your schedule just to see him. You make your world revolve around him, hoping he'll notice, hoping he'll appreciate you. But let me ask you something. What happens when you make something too available? People take it for granted. They assume it will always be there. They stop putting in effort because they think you will always be an option. And the moment you let a man believe you will always be an option, he will treat you like one. See, the problem isn't that you're kind. The problem isn't that you care. The problem is that you are giving priority treatment to someone who hasn't earned it. You are offering the best of you to someone who is giving you the bare minimum. And when you do that, when you accept the minimum, guess what? That's all you'll ever get. Because why would a man put in more effort if he knows he doesn't have to? Why would he step up when he knows you'll be there no matter what? The truth is, you teach people how to treat you. And every time you tolerate inconsistency, every time you excuse disrespect, every time you lower your standards just to keep someone around, you are teaching them that it's okay to treat you that way. You are showing them that they can do the bare minimum and still have access to you. And let me tell you, the bare minimum is not enough for a woman who knows her worth. You want a man to respect you? Make him earn you. Make him put in effort. Make him step up. Because let me tell you something, a man values what he has to work for. A man cherishes what he has to invest in. And if you are just out here giving yourself away freely, if you are making it too easy, he will not respect it. Stop being afraid to set boundaries. Stop being afraid to say no. Stop being afraid to walk away when someone is not treating you right. Some of you are so scared of losing someone that you are losing yourself in the process. You are bending, shrinking, compromising everything you deserve just to keep someone who is not even showing up for you. And that is not love, that is fear. You are afraid that if you say no, he will leave. If you set boundaries, he will lose interest. But let me tell you something. If your boundaries push someone away, they were never meant for you in the first place. The right one will rise to meet your standards, not ask you to lower them. The right one will respect your time, your energy, your value without you having to beg for it. And I know what you're thinking, but I don't want to play games. This is not about games. This is about self-respect. This is about teaching people that if they want access to you, if they want to be in your life, they have to show up the right way. This is about making sure that the energy you give is reciprocated. That you are not the only one pouring, the only one trying, the only one investing. Because let me tell you something, A woman who values herself is a woman who does not chase. A woman who values herself does not beg for effort. A woman who values herself does not sit around waiting for someone to realize what they should have seen from the start. She walks. She stands tall. She does not settle for less than what she deserves. And because of that, she commands respect. You ever wonder why certain women never seem to struggle with getting respect? Why they never have to deal with inconsistency? It's because they refuse to entertain it. It's because they set a standard and they don't budge. And men know that. Men step up for women who require it. They respect women who respect themselves. And let me be real with you. Some of you have been too nice for too long. You're too patient, too forgiving. You have allowed too much, excused too much, tolerated too much. And it's time to stop. It's time to start choosing yourself. It's time to start setting a standard. It's time to stop settling for almost and maybe and one day. If a man is not showing up the way you deserve today, right now, in this moment, then he is not the one for you. And the longer you keep giving chances to the wrong one, the longer you keep settling, the longer you delay the right one from coming into your life. So make him earn you. Make him step up. Make him meet you at your level. And if he won't, let him go. Because a woman who knows her worth does not chase. She attracts. She demands. And she does not settle for less than the best. You have to understand something. Men respect strength. Men respect boundaries. Men respect what they can't just walk all over. And the reason so many of you are feeling drained, feeling unappreciated, feeling taken for granted is because you keep giving too much of yourself to the wrong people. You keep thinking that if you are just nice enough, patient enough, understanding enough, then maybe he'll see your worth. Maybe he'll wake up one day and realize how lucky he is to have you. But let me tell you something, that's not how it works. See, people don't value what they don't have to work for. They don't cherish what they think will always be there. And if you keep making yourself available to someone who gives you the bare minimum, if you keep accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole meal, you are teaching them that they don't have to do more, that what they're giving is enough. And let me tell you, it's not. You know it's not. That's why you feel empty. That's why you feel like something is missing, because deep down, you know you deserve more. But here's the thing. You don't get more by waiting for someone to change. You don't get more by begging, by pleading, by hoping they finally step up. No. You get more by requiring it, by setting a standard and sticking to it, by showing them that you are not a woman who settles for less. And if they can't meet you where you are, you walk. See, a lot of you are afraid to walk away, afraid that if you leave, you'll be alone, afraid that if you stop being the one to hold everything together, everything will fall apart. But let me tell you something. Sometimes things need to fall apart so better things can come together. Sometimes you need to let go of what is draining you so you can make room for what will fulfill you. And I get it. I do. You're thinking, but I love him. You're thinking, but we've been through so much. You're thinking, what if I never find someone else? Let me tell you something. Love is not enough. Love is not a reason to stay in a situation where you are undervalued, unappreciated, taken for granted. Love should not feel like a struggle. Love should not feel like you are constantly trying to prove your worth. A man who truly loves you, he will not make you question where you stand. He will not make you feel like an afterthought. He will not make you fight for his attention, his respect, his effort. Because when a man really values you, he shows up for you. He makes an effort. He invests. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. And that's the difference. Some of you out here forcing something that should flow naturally. You are trying to convince someone to care when they should already see your value. And I need you to hear me. You should never have to convince a man to treat you right. You should never have to beg for consistency. You should never have to explain why you deserve to be prioritized. A man who is for you, he will know your worth. He will recognize it from the start. He won't need you to constantly remind him, to constantly prove yourself, to constantly lower your standards just to keep him around. No, he will rise to the occasion. He will meet you where you are. And if he won't, then he is not for you. Some of you need to stop trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. You need to stop pouring all your love, your time, your energy into someone who is only giving you half of that in return. Because what happens when you keep pouring into something that isn't pouring back into you? You end up empty. You end up drained. You end up losing yourself in the process. And you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be in a relationship where you feel like you are constantly chasing, constantly proving, constantly questioning your worth. Because let me tell you something, a queen does not chase. A queen does not beg for love. A queen does not settle for a man who is unsure about her. A queen knows her worth, and she demands that others know it too. So stop being afraid to set boundaries. Stop being afraid to walk away from what is not serving you. Stop thinking that being nice, being understanding, being patient will make someone love you the way you deserve. Love is not about patience. Love is not about waiting for someone to change. Love is about alignment. It's about two people who meet at the right place at the right time, who both want to invest, who both want to grow, who both see each other's value from the start. And until you find that, do not settle. Do not shrink yourself to fit into a space that was never meant for you. Do not lower your standards just because you are afraid of being alone. Because let me tell you something, being alone is better than being in the wrong relationship. Being alone is better than constantly wondering if you are enough. Being alone is better than being with someone who does not see your worth. Some of you are waiting for a man to validate you. Validate yourself. Some of you are waiting for a man to choose you. Choose yourself. Some of you are waiting for someone to give you the love you've been giving to everyone else. Give that love to yourself. Because when you truly love yourself, when you truly see your own value, you won't settle for bare minimum. You won't waste your time on people who do not reciprocate your energy. And let me tell you what happens when you start operating from that place. You attract better. You attract people who respect you. You attract people who value you. You attract relationships that don't drain you, but build you up. And that is what you deserve. That is what you should be holding out for. But it starts with you. It starts with knowing your worth. It starts with setting boundaries and sticking to them. It starts with realizing that you are the prize. You are the one who should be pursued, cherished, respected. And if someone is not treating you that way, if someone is not giving you the effort, the consistency, the love that you deserve, then they are not for you. So stop being nice to men who don't deserve it. Stop overextending yourself for people who are giving you less than you deserve. Hold your standards high, and the right one will rise to meet them. And if they don't, you walk. Because a woman who knows her worth does not beg. She does not plead. She chooses herself. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that being nice is the key to being loved. That if you give enough, if you sacrifice enough, if you bend and break yourself into whatever shape a man needs, then he will appreciate you. That he will see your worth, that he will choose you, that he will never leave. But let me tell you something, love does not work like that. And if you think that being endlessly nice, endlessly giving, endlessly available is the way to a man's heart, then you are setting yourself up for heartbreak. Because here's the truth. People don't value what they don't have to work for. A man will not cherish what he didn't have to earn. A man will not prioritize what is always there, always waiting, always ready to forgive, to understand, to accommodate. That is not how men operate. That is not how human nature works. When something is too easy, too accessible, too predictable, it loses its value. Think about the things in life that people truly appreciate. They are the things that took effort, the things they had to work for, the things they had to earn. And yet so many women out here are handing out their love like it's free, like it's a charity, like it's something that should be given without expectation, without standards, without accountability. And then you wonder why you feel unappreciated. You wonder why he's pulling away. You wonder why he's not putting in effort. Let me tell you why. Because he doesn't have to. Because you have made it so easy for him that he has no reason to step up, no reason to chase, to pursue, to commit. And don't get it twisted. I am not saying you need to play games. I am not saying you need to manipulate, to withhold love, to act cold and distant. No, that's not what this is about. This is about having standards. This is about having boundaries. This is about knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to give your time, your energy, your heart to someone who hasn't earned it. And that's the difference. A woman who knows her worth, she is not cold, she is not mean, she is not rude, but she is firm. She does not tolerate inconsistency. She does not entertain half-hearted efforts. She does not waste time on a man who is unsure about her, because she values herself too much for that. Some of you need to stop saying yes to men who haven't proven themselves. Some of you need to stop making excuses for a man's bad behavior. Stop saying, oh, he's just busy. No, he's not. Stop saying, oh, he just doesn't express his emotions well. No, he just doesn't care enough to show you. Stop saying, oh, I just need to be more patient. No, you need to have standards. You need to stop trying to be the one who always fixes, who always nurtures, who always gives. Because when you do that, you are not being loving, you are not being kind, you are not being strong. You are betraying yourself. You are betraying that deep knowing inside of you that says, I deserve better than this. And if you don't listen to that voice, if you keep ignoring it, keep silencing it, keep convincing yourself that being nice, being patient, being understanding will get you the love you crave, you will waste years. You will give away pieces of yourself that you will never get back. And for what? For a man who was never going to choose you in the way you deserve to be chosen? For a man who was never going to give you the effort, the consistency, the commitment that you were giving him? No. Enough of that. You have to be bold enough to say, I deserve more. You have to be strong enough to say, I am not settling for a love that drains me, confuses me, disappoints me. You have to be wise enough to recognize that a man's potential does not matter. His words do not matter. His intentions do not matter. What matters is how he shows up. What matters is what he actually does. And if he is not showing up in a way that honors you, respects you, values you, then he is not for you. And let me tell you something. A woman who knows her worth does not chase. She does not beg for love. She does not sit around waiting for a man to wake up and realize how amazing she is. She moves forward. She moves with purpose. She moves with confidence. And in doing so, she attracts the kind of love that is meant for her. Because when you carry yourself like a woman who deserves the best, you will find that you naturally weed out the men who are not willing to give you that. The wrong ones will remove themselves from your life. The ones who just wanted to take from you, to use you, to drain you, they won't stick around. They won't be able to keep up. And that is a good thing. Because when you stop entertaining what is wrong for you, you make space for what is right. You make space for a love that does not require you to shrink. A love that does not require you to overextend yourself, to constantly prove your worth, to fight for the bare minimum. But it starts with you. It starts with you deciding, I will no longer be a woman who accepts less than what I deserve. It starts with you choosing to be a woman who does not settle, a woman who does not make herself small, a woman who does not let loneliness keep her in a situation that is beneath her. So no, you do not need to be nice to men who have not earned your kindness. You do not need to be endlessly patient with men who have not earned your time. You do not need to be available for men who are only half available for you. You need to be kind to yourself first. You need to respect yourself first. And when you do that, when you carry yourself with that level of self-worth, the right kind of man will recognize it. And the wrong ones, they will fall away. So instead of over-explaining, just be silent. Instead of repeating yourself, just leave. Instead of proving your worth, just live in it. Silence is loud, walking away is powerful, protecting your energy is life-changing, and the moment you stop being nice to men who don't deserve it and start being true to yourself, everything will change.